There's only one horse racing channel on YouTube that is crazy enough to be looking forward to the 1,000 Guineas in mid-February, but that is us at Racers Now because we absolutely love the flat. And yes, it will soon creep up on us, the 1,000 Guineas, the 5th of May, the first Fillies Classic of the season. The flat season getting underway is just 4 weeks away, so the Classics will soon be upon us. In stark contrast to the Colts equivalent, the 2,000 Guineas, which has an odds-on favourite in City of Troy, the 1,000 Guineas has a wide-open field to the betting at this early stage. It's 5-1 the field, and I hardly even need to tell you, really, who trains the anti-post favourite. Opera Singer is 5-1 favourite currently. She was officially the best 2-year-old in Europe last season, and there's little reason to think that she won't be as good or better in 2024. She's another one of these Justify offspring, and Justify is a sire on the up, of course, also the sire of City of Troy. You won't miss this Opera Singer on TV. She's probably got the largest white facial markings of any horse in training. Big, massive blaze of white down the front of her face. She was a very impressive winner of the Marcel Boussac on her final start, and actually given a handicap rating £1 higher than Rosalien achieved on the same day at Longchamp in October. So a very good filly in her own right, this Opera Singer. She took her juvenile form to a new level, went up to a mile on her final 2 starts of 2023 and looks certain to get further in time. A definite Oaks contender at this stage. But I'm honestly not sure if she's a Guineas horse or not. She may well start off in the Guineas, as a lot of Aiden O'Brien horses do, both Fillies and Colts. But will she prove good enough to be winning the Guineas? I'm not sure. I think she's going to want further in time. Now, the next best Aiden O'Brien filly at this stage is Yilang Yilang, winner of the Fillies Mile at Newmarket last September. The same course and distance as the 1,000 Guineas, but her trainer has hinted that keeping Yilang Yilang and Opera Singer apart, with one going to the English Guineas and one going to the French Guineas. Which way round that strategy will be, or that placement will be, we don't know yet. The market suggests it is more likely to be Opera Singer going to Newmarket and Yilang Yilang maybe going over to France, but I wouldn't be certain. Yilang Yilang is officially £6 inferior to her stablemate Opera Singer at this stage on official ratings, although they are only a guide and we have not seen either of them potentially at their best yet. They've only had a handful of starts between them. I wouldn't be sure which one goes where at the moment, England or France, not sure. I mean, Opera Singer has done well on softer ground thus far, but it certainly wasn't slow ground on Arc Day. Forget what the French going said on Arc Day. That day it was quicker, a lot quicker than described. But purely on the basis that Yilang Yilang is A, a Fillies Mile winner, B, trained by Aiden O'Brien, because she's got to represent value in the market. You can get as big as 12-1 for Yilang Yilang, 15, around 15 on the exchange. Yes, it is Aiden O'Brien bingo, and yes, comments thus far have suggested that Opera Singer is for Newmarket and Yilang Yilang might be for France, but nothing of certainty yet. And if you just take that the last 7 Aiden O'Brien horses to have placed or won a Fillies Mile have all won at least one Group 1 in their 3-year-old season. So the last 7 horses that Aiden O'Brien has trained to place in a Fillies Mile have all gone on to achieve bigger and better things as a 3-year-old the following year. This included 2 1,000 Guineas winners itself, 3 Oaks winners, and plenty more. September is another horse that won neither of those races, but still won Group 1s. He had horses that didn't win the Fillies Mile, like Hermosa and Love, that both went on to win the 1,000 Guineas around 7 or 8 months later. So just on the basis that Yilang Yilang is a Fillies Mile winner, trained by Aiden O'Brien, 12-1, must represent some value to me, in my opinion. I mean, it is Aiden O'Brien bingo 101, but I think it's definitely got to be of interest in what I think, and we're going to come on to, isn't a vintage year for the Fillies, which we'll come on to. Splitting the 2 Aiden O'Brien contenders in the anti-post markets at this stage is a horse called Fallen Angel. 3 wins and a second from 4 starts last year, including a Group 1 at the Curragh, where she won the Moyglare Stud Stakes. A really productive year for Fallen Angel, trained by Carl Burke. In that Moyglare in September at the Curragh, Yilang Yilang was 6-5 to win that day and completely blew out. A pretty awful performance, really, from Yilang Yilang. That blew that race wide open, and Fallen Angel picked up the pieces. Now, fair play to Fallen Angel. She's won a Group 3 and a Group 1 as a 2-year-old, but beat them very little, in my opinion, and wouldn't be my kind of idea of a Guineas bet at 8-1 at this stage, to be frank. She'll probably may well run for Carl Burke, but yeah, she doesn't look a Guineas winner to me, and hasn't really proved it on form just yet. Vespolito is another one that ran in the Moyglare, was second behind Foil and Angel. She's 16-1 for the Guineas, but likely to stay at home in Ireland for Willie McCreary. You'd have thought that Vespolito is going to be staying at home rather than coming over to Newmarket, but you never know. And at this point in the market, there really isn't a lot to go at. We've covered 3 or 4 there, but in fact, there are only 8 fillies in the whole of the UK and Ireland with an official rating at the end of their 2-year-old season of 110 or more. 4 of them have already been mentioned above. And of the other 4 rated 110 or higher at this stage, at least 3 of them are sprinters in the making, in my opinion. It is not a vintage crop going into 2024 Classics Offspring. We've definitely got to mention one called One Look for Paddy Twomey, trained. I mean, it was bordering on the incredible on her one and only career start, this One Look. You've got to go and watch it. It was pretty amazing, really. Made her debut in the Goffs Million at the Curragh in September, which I think is the richest 2-year-old race in the whole of Europe, a sales race. Debuted in that. There was 23 runners. She was pretty well back and went off 5-1, second or third favourite. Travelled all over her rivals and pretty much won on the bridle on debut. Absolutely slamming the form horse of the race, which was Cherry Blossom, trained by Aiden O'Brien. That horse was second. So One Look has beat the right horses. Just an incredible performance to do on debut. She very, very much sits in the box of could be anything heading into 2024. But another who is probably more likely to be aimed at the Irish Guineas rather than at Newmarket. But if she was to go to Newmarket or anywhere, absolutely anywhere, One Look is going to be an interesting horse and a serious contender in any race she turns up next. To have done that on debut was pretty astounding, to be honest. Well worth going back and having a look. Back to the Fillies Mile form, and I think it's important to always, to concentrate on the Fillies Mile. It is over the course and distance of the Guineas, similar to the Dewhurst. It usually provides the champion 2-year-old of that season. It did not in 2023. Opera Singer took that title after her win in Longchamp. But often the Dewhurst for the Colts and the Fillies Mile for the Fillies, they're usually crowned the best 2-year-old in the UK and Ireland. Where it was a bit of a blanket finish, really. Ylang did bounce back after that disappointment at the Curragh in September. She then went to the Fillies Mile and won that, but in a battling finish. It was a bit of a blanket finish between Shawari, who was in second, and See the Fire, who was in third. Both ran with credit, but it was Ylang who went on to win by around about 3/4 of a length on the day. You'd expect both of Shawawi and See the Fire to maybe turn up in a British trial with an eye on the Guineas, maybe in April at either Newmarket or Newbury with an eye on the Guineas itself. Shawari went off 3-1 for the Fillies Mile, and she was 1 1/4 lengths, covered the first 3. Like I say, it was a bit of a blanket finish. She did run with some credit, running great in and out of the dip. But she did have an uncomfortable head carriage at time. This Shawari kind of drifted across to the stand side rail as they tend to do at Newmarket. So I'm not really sure about Shawari. She's 16-1 currently. Probably looks a likely runner. See the Fire was third, and I really did like her run. She probably hit the front too soon under Oisin Murphy and was running out of steam late on. Experience rather than stamina, I think, was her undoing. This was only this See the Fire only made her debut in August. On August the 12th, she made a debut. She was placed in a Group 2 on her second start in September. Then in October, went on to be placed in a Group 1, all within 2 months of debut. I think that's pretty impressive for an inexperienced horse. I think she's been campaigned like a proper horse by Andrew Balding, maiden, Group 2, Group 1. She's by See the Stars out of a Juddmonte winner in Arabian Queen. So she's certainly bred to do the job well. And I do like See the Fire. I think she could be a definite contender in this race from a UK perspective. She's 20-1 currently. So now we are in the realms, having covered those horses, we're now in the realms of potential rather than form in the book. There's all sorts in the zone of priced up at 33-1 and 50-1 and 66-1 that have had 2 runs or even 1 run in a novice race. That could be anything. Maybe they'll pop up in a trial and show their hand, but there's little point in me coming to tell you that a once race Kempton maiden winner, trained by for example, John Gosden is going to win the 1,000 guineas. It would be fanciful talk really at the moment to try and pick a horse that's only been running in a maiden or a novice race at Kempton at the back end of last season to go on and be a 1,000 guineas contender. They're going to have to come out and prove it. Like I say, I think you could have a pretty small field really at this stage looking towards the 1,000 guineas. The strength in depth is not there at the moment. Something might come out of the woodwork and prove themselves, but it's very rare that a horse who didn't win a race of note, a black type race in their 2-year-old season, to come in and win the 1,000 guineas early in the season the next year. You're looking for horses with proven form in the book. We've covered most of them in this race, and they hopefully are going to be the ones turning up at Newmarket in early May. Would I be having a bet at this stage? Now, yes, is the answer. I think Ylang could maybe be back from a trading perspective. You can get around 15 on the exchange for Ylang at the moment. Might not run, might go to France. That's the caveat. But if she was to be pointed at Newmarket, and there's little concrete evidence so far to suggest that she would go to either way, France or England. I think she would be a trading angle. She's definitely going to be a lot shorter than that if she was to turn up at Newmarket. And let's remember, Aiden O'Brien and the Coolmore boys have absolutely no problem running good horses against each other in Group 1s. There's no reason why it might not happen. He often has 5, 6 runners in the Derby, 2 or 3 runners in the Guineas, both 1,000 and 2,000. So there's definitely a world where Opera Singer and Ylang could both turn up in the 1,000 guineas at Newmarket. Absolutely, I could see that happening. The bet I would be looking at having and happy to advise at this stage would be See the Fire. For reasons already given, ran really well in the Fillies Mile on just her 3rd career start. Hit the front too early, looked a bit lonely, looked a bit inexperienced. I think she'll definitely stay. She's an intended runner, and to be targeted at it. Yes, we're a long way away, but she's definitely being trained like a good horse, pointed at the 1,000 guineas, and I think she's an exciting horse. She's 20 to 1. I think that's probably about right on what we've seen so far. Not a price to be getting carried away with, but I do think if you back See the Fire now, she's more than likely going to turn up and give you a run for your money in what's not necessarily a vintage year for the 1,000 guineas. So thanks for watching. We'll be back soon with more anti-post previews here on Racers Now.